welcome to another monthly journaling club hangout. I am so glad you are here. If you are new, my name is Kelsey Lee, and this is the monthly journaling club where we get together once a month to document our lives 1 month at a time. And as you can see, we have been doing so since January of this year and already have tons and tons of memories recorded for 2025 as we are committed to making this a year to remember. And we basically follow this structure where we get together and enjoy a live stream hangout where we get to document in real time together and reflect on the month. And then for those who can't join us live, the recording will be available afterward. But I do encourage you, if you can ever make it live, definitely try to do so. The best way to know when we are going live is to be a patron over on Patreon. It is completely free to join, and that way you'll never miss one of our live streams. But typically we do meet on the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. This month, as you can tell, is a little different because we're meeting on a Monday, and that is because I actually had a wedding this past weekend, and so I was doing a lot to get ready. And you can see whose wedding it was because it's kind of fun because when you look back through the months, you can see the lead up to the wedding. Because here in February, we have the bachelorette weekend for my friend Michelle. And then when you turn the page to March, over here, I have her wedding shower. And then April will be a month, I think, where we didn't do anything. And then we'll get to May and get to document her wedding. So definitely be there for May because that's going to be really fun to document. But today is all about April. That is what we are going to be focused on documenting. So go ahead and say hello in the chat. I know some of you are already doing so. And I love getting to just make this a true hangout by all participating in the chat together. And do let me know. I think my sound is working and you guys can hear and see me okay. It looks like movement is happening and you can see what's going on. But hi, Jamie and Diane and Bree. We have so many friends joining in already as we prepare to document the next month of the year. It's hard to believe that this is 1/4 of the year already done, and now we are moving into the second quarter of the year, and that of course is April. So I have my bucket list for April here, which I have been using to document every month. If you're new this year, as part of making it a year to remember, we are creating these monthly bucket lists where essentially my patrons contribute all of their amazing ideas for what we should be doing this coming month to get in the spirit of the month and just to add some more to our lives, just to be more intentional, right, about how we spend our time. So these were the ideas that my patrons submitted for April, and I'm quite proud. Actually, I haven't yet checked all the ones I did off because I did go out for frozen yogurt. I just randomly stopped after work to treat myself, basically just so I could check this off and be like, yeah, I'm gonna actually do this and treat myself. And then the other one I just did right at the end of the month is update my wardrobe. And I'm actually wearing, you can't really see it, but this shirt that I'm wearing is one of the things that I actually just got for my spring wardrobe. So I did a solid 1, 2, 3. I think typically I do 10 items on each list, but I do think I actually did 11 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so I did 9 out of 11. I consider that a pretty awesome score for April. Let me know, for those of you who have been following along with the bucket list and participating in making it a year to remember by actually using the bucket list, what your score was for this month. How did you do in making this a month to remember? And which of these are you most excited to document? I would love to know. And then I did, of course, print out some photos as well, as I do every single month. And I just did a 4x6 this month because I felt like I didn't quite have as many photos to document. But I am excited to go ahead and cut these out. And as always, if you are new, I talk about this in pretty much every live stream, but it's a question I get all the time, which is how do you print tiny photos for your journaling? And what I do is I just create a collage over in the Pic Collage app, which is an app you can download on your phone. It's also available on desktop. And then using that app, you can go ahead and organize all of your photos for the month into a collage and then print them out as a 4x6 or a 5x7, whatever size makes the most sense for you that month. And then you can cut out all the individual photos so that they are tiny and you know they're going to fit in your journal. And you can maybe even hear my printer making noises in the background because I just printed this literally a minute before we started. I got home a little bit later from work today, so it was a rush to get everything together. But we are here and the live stream is happening. And I'm glad that some of you actually found that the Monday time worked better for you. So it is not, I like having a regular schedule because one, it's nice for my life and like I always know when it's coming and what date to try and hold. But also I think it's typically easier for all of you to have an idea of what date generally to hold. But I do like switching it up every now and then just so that those of you who can never make the Thursday time because you already have an obligation, maybe can make a live for another date when we do that. Good, I'm glad it worked better for you too, Bree. That's great. And you know, I could do a poll maybe for the next like quarter or half of the year of what day of the week you guys would prefer, because originally the reason I did the first Thursday of every month is because Ben used to volunteer somewhere, but that volunteer opportunity is no longer happening. But that was always the first Thursday of the month, so I tried to time it the same time that he would be out of the house, and you know, that way we're both kind of busy with something. But now that he doesn't have that anymore, it doesn't really matter what day of the week I do it on. So we'll see. Maybe maybe we'll keep it as Thursdays, but maybe I'll see if there's a request, like I'll put out a poll to see if another date would actually work better. I don't know what happened with my ink this time around. I feel like there's the slightest green hue. Now there's a lot of green already in these photos, so maybe that's why, but it feels like the coloring just went a little more tinted green this time. So I see, Diane, you said that you could get 3 from the bucket list. That's honestly really good. You know, it's actually pretty hard with some of these bucket lists, depending on where you live too, and just what else is going on in the month, to be able to check everything off. But the point is just to try and be more intentional with your time and to be able to do more of the things that you love, or more things that just kind of even get you out of your comfort zone a little bit, or encourage you to try something a little new, or just to try and purposefully make a memory by doing something outside of your standard routine. And even if you only do that once in the month, that is still a win. Okay, I see Janie is saying that she's open to another day too, but not on the last Wednesday because that's a book club. Yeah, it'll definitely be a first because I like to do them at the start of the new month so that you can look back on the month that just happened. And actually, speaking of book clubs, this is a good moment as I'm cutting out this photo because I talked in our last live stream about how I have been thinking about wanting to start a book club, and I think I'm gonna just do it, and we're just gonna do like a soft launch and start together reading some books, and I'm gonna do it on a quarterly basis. And since the second quarter did just start a month ago, you know, obviously April's the first month of the quarter, I was thinking that I should just start it now, even though that means you'd only have like 2 months, though I'd probably do like a mid or late June time to discuss. But the book that I'm currently reading and that I thought would be great to start our book club with is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. So I wanted to share that this is the book that is going to be the first for our book club. I think I'm going to call it the Abiding Book Club or Abiding Journal Book Club. I am open to your feedback on what you think the title of it should be. Abiding Journal is a bit long, but it's more clear, I think. And what I'm thinking is this book, I Capture the Castle, is actually written in journal form. It's written as a journal. So I'm thinking at least for the first year, but maybe even longer, I'm thinking make them all books that are either in journal or diary format of some kind. Maybe even some memoirs, because those kind of can be journally in how they're written. But I think that would be such a nice tie-in with all of our love of journaling. And there are tons of books I already know I want to read that are in that format that I haven't yet read. So that is what I'm thinking. On a quarterly basis, we will read a book in a journal or diary format, starting with I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. I will share the link for you guys in the chat in just a second. And then I will be announcing this more formally on my Patreon. Yes, yep, you're ahead of me with your question, Sarah. So yes, I will be posting about the book club more formally, sharing what book we're reading, which is, again, I Capture the Castle, and the format. I'm going to start a little group chat on the Patreon page as well. It will be free. You don't have to be on a tier to participate in the book club. Everybody can join in. You just have to be a free member over on Patreon to participate in the chat. And then I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do like a live stream. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is probably a live stream hangout to discuss the book afterward, instead of like a fully edited video. So I hope you guys are excited about that, because I am personally very excited about getting to talk books a little bit more here on my channel. And then the other thing I'm thinking eventually, when we get closer to the end of the quarter, is sharing a sticker sheet, and that will be likely on a paid tier for the book. So like with some of my favorite quotes from the book, and like in the color palette of the book cover, and I'll have the book cover on the sticker collection too, and like anything else, like a theme or symbol from the book will be on that sticker kit, so then you can use that sticker kit to document reading the book. So I haven't decided yet what tier that will be available on, but I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to be so fun. And more details will definitely be coming, as I said. And you know, like I said, it's kind of a soft launch because, you know, in a perfect world, I would have come up with this idea before the new year started, and we would have started in January and done each quarter. And even for this second quarter of the year, I would have announced in April, but life is busy and it didn't happen. But I think, honestly, it's a really quick read, and I think I'm not even fully done it. So hopefully I like the rest, but so far I'm loving it. And so I thought it would be a good one, and definitely is really great for like spring, summer vibes. But even if you're not in the Northern Hemisphere, it still would be a great read. And then I figured 2 months should be satisfactory amount of time for those of you who want to read it and participate. And, you know, if you don't read the whole thing by the time we discuss, that's fine too. You can always watch the discussion later. But I'm just going to pull up the link real quick because I know some of you are already eager to order it, which is so exciting. Try and find my edition because I think this one is so pretty. It's like this deluxe edition, but it's a very fair price on Amazon. It's $12, at least that's what's coming up for me. So I will share that for you guys. And you can learn more about the book there. So that is in the chat, and after we're done with the live stream, I'll also put it in the description box as well. I'm sorry, my brain is a little fried today. I feel like I barely got any sleep this weekend with the wedding. I've been so tired all day, so we're gonna do the best we can. Oh, I didn't finish cutting these. Getting rid of the trimmer, and we didn't finish. This trimmer already seems, I feel like I just replaced this blade, but I feel like it's not cutting great. It's getting all feathery. Yeah, it's really sweet, and I have like so many pages marked in it already just because there's so many quotes, and just the way she talks about, you know, I don't want to start my book chat before I'm even having the chat, but some of just the ways she reflects on certain aspects of life, or even just like the smallest details, it's just so spot on in how she describes things. I've just been very impressed with it, and it is really fun in the journal format, and how she's writing. The opening line is, it's something to the effect of, I'm writing this from the kitchen sink. Like she's just sitting with her feet in the kitchen sink, and that's how she opens the book. Wow, Bree has already ordered it. Look at you. And for those of you who are planning to order, I do really appreciate you using that link that I shared in the comments or in the in the chat box. It's available because I do get the teeniest like 1 cent from Amazon when you do that, but it does add up and does help out when you use my links. All right, so I've got all the photos cut out, and I do have some random other things that I've saved that I may or may not use, like my TJ Maxx, where I got some of my new spring clothes. I also did get some stuff from Outdoor Vitals, planning for our upcoming backpacking trip. I have a little tree thing because we finally planted bushes. Look at me all excited with my bushes. I'm so happy. We've been in the house, I guess we're coming up on 3 years at the end of this summer, and the last 2 summers all I wanted was to plant a little bit of privacy bushes, and we finally did it. So that was like a huge thing that we finally checked off the list that I was very happy about. We also did organize a little Easter egg hunt because we hosted Easter this year and actually had some of our friends' kids join us. Like, how precious are these photos? So definitely going to be using that with our little organize an Easter egg hunt sticker. So the whole idea of these stickers is that you can use it as a full sheet and put it in like a planner to check things off, but you also can just keep it as a separate sheet or do both and then cut out the stickers to actually document those events in your journaling. So we'll put that Easter egg hunt there. I spent lots of time out in the garden, as I said, with planting the bushes. Also planted a ton of perennials. It's always my favorite thing, just seeing the garden come to life. I'm curious if a lot of you have been spending a lot of time in your gardens this last April. or even like what is main gardening season for you? Like when is the best time to be out in your garden? Because I know that kind of varies place to place. That's funny that I didn't know that about, what was that, MT's Montana, right? It takes that long. Sarah, I've avoided my garden. That's fair. That was me in most of March until the end, where I was like, all right, I finally need to just get out here and actually do something about this, because the flowers are starting to come up and they're covered by leaves. And then we'll do the go birding one. I definitely want to put on here. No, we didn't do like an official we're going birding trip, which sometimes we do. Like we'll get up really early in the morning and go out and actually dedicate a morning to birding. So we didn't get to do that yet this year, but we did at the end of April get to go to this nature preserve near us that I think we've actually gone to every April for the past few years. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to get to go this year. And then Ben was going to the bank of all places, and it happens to be near the nature preserve. So I was like, well, let me go with you and we'll go to the nature preserve, because at this preserve, there typically are bluebells that come out at this time of year, and the whole place is just covered in bluebells. So it's kind of hard to tell in this photo, but I have a picture of Jeannie and all the bluebells behind her. And let me see, I'm going to show you last year's April, because if you don't know, this whole journal, which is a Dingbats B5 size journal, is actually my monthly journal. So I pretty much only do monthly entries in this journal. So I have multiple years. I have 3 years already in this journal. This is my, wait, 3 years? Or do I have 2 years and this is the 3rd year? I think this is the 3rd year. And then I think I have space, I was counting the other day, for 1 more year in this journal, for a total of 4 years that'll go in this one journal. So you can see here the Hummel Nature Trail. I have again a photo of Jeannie. I didn't have a photo of the bluebells this time. But last April I said an afternoon stroll with Jeannie, my journal, the birds, and bluebells at my favorite spring spot, using the favorite spring spot sticker. And then let's see, the April before that. Yep, the April before that, I have it here, Bluebells Hummel Nature Trail. And this one photo you can actually see a little bit better. All of the bluebells just covering all sides of the trail. So it's really fun aspect of monthly journaling is when you do have those traditions that you start to establish, you can just see them recorded year after year, and how they are slightly different but still the same. You know, what they mean to you might evolve over time. Who you do them with, right? People who are with you for those experiences might change. But I think that is just such a fun thing about monthly journaling. And actually, April is full. This is so funny, actually, looking at this last April. So this is 2 Aprils ago, because almost everything on here I'm going to be documenting again this April, partly because of Easter. So we hosted Easter at our house this year. The garden coming to life, we always document. We didn't see cedar waxwings, but I do want to draw another bird that we saw this year. So that also will be similar to this page. Summer travel prep, again, is something that I've been working on. First day of trout, we always have a really fun tradition of getting together with friends for that. And then we did go out for sushi with friends again. So it's just so funny to look back on this and see so many traditions that we do every April. Max did not visit us, unfortunately, this year, so that's different. And we luckily did not need another new car, so that is different too. But otherwise, it's really fun that there's just so much similarity year to year in how we spend our Aprils. Anyhow, so that's birding. And then I think I do want to document the frozen yogurt because I did make a point of going out and I didn't print. I took a photo, but the photo did not really do the frozen yogurt justice. It didn't actually look that appetizing. So I'm just going to use the sticker to represent it, which is the nice thing about stickers, right? Or illustrations, because sometimes the photos don't actually do the experience justice and you want a cute or prettier version of the experience, and this is definitely a much cuter frozen yogurt, so we'll use that on the page. And that may be it. We'll see. I may use some of these others, you know, to take up some more space, but I just want to make sure I have room for everything else. And then I do want to cut out, we'll see if I want to use this. The blue, I don't know, is going to match super well, but it's actually the cover from the chopsticks from going out for sushi. So I did save it just in case I might want to use it. That is, again, one of the things I'm always encouraging is, you know, not only to have the stickers and the photos, but to think of those little mementos throughout your month that you might want to hold on to use too. And then I have a ticket from going to see Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express at Theater Harrisburg. So I don't know if I'm going to use this, but I did save them. Maybe the Theater Harrisburg. So let me just, I'll cut that out. That was a fun kind of last minute experience where literally the day before our friends were like, hey, we have 2 extra tickets to go see the Murder on the Orient Express. You want to see it with us? And we happen to not have any plans. Ben is a big Agatha Christie fan. I actually don't think I can say that I've read an Agatha Christie. So let me know if you're an Agatha Christie fan and if you think I should at some point. I know he really enjoys them. And I am starting to get into mysteries more, so maybe I should give one a shot. All right, I think that's a good amount to work with to start. And all I need now is, of course, our month title. And I have been using the diagonal corner strips for my months. These are available over on my Patreon, as are, by the way, the monthly sticker kits. I'm not sure if I said that you can find the bucket list over on my Patreon, but that's where they are. The bucket lists are available for everybody on the Abiding Love tier and up, and I do always share a freebie for each month as well as our challenge for the month. So that also is available for everybody who is a free member, and it is, if you go to the video post on Patreon for this live stream, I do have it linked in there, as well as the May sticker, the freebie, because I just posted today the May bucket list, and I actually didn't print it out yet for myself to be able to share it with you. So I don't have it to share, but that is available over there if you want to go see what it looks like. There's a lot of really fun activities on the main bucket list that I'm excited to do. One of them is walk or hike or drive to see a waterfall. and one of them is go on a picnic, and the picnic sticker is actually our freebie for the month, so definitely recommend downloading that freebie. Go become a free member so you can get access to that. Here, I probably can pull it up and show you if we get a little creative. Okay, I'll just go like this. It's kind of hard to see, but this is the picnic sticker that you can download for free. And then if I scroll up, there is the May bucket list. So lots of fun activities, refreshing your patio or yard or porch to create an outdoor oasis, planting something edible in your garden that you can eat fresh, like tomatoes, which is what the illustration is. Find a great buy at a yard sale. I would love to find a yard sale that I can go to make that one happen. Take a staycation and rest at home. That is definitely one that I already have on the schedule, so I will definitely be doing that. We have plan a trip somewhere, and that can be somewhere far away. Maybe you plan on going internationally at some point this summer or across the country, whatever country that may be for you. Or maybe you want to just do something local. You could plan a trip, to a nearby amusement park or to a national park that's near you, or even just a hiking trail. It doesn't have to be crazy. It could just be like a day trip too. So don't feel like that's one you can't check off unless you do something really big. You can check it off by doing any kind of little trip. So I did take the sticky back off of April, but before I put that down, I actually want to do the same thing I did last month, where I put a sticker under it because I really liked the look of that. So I'm going to look for a nice sticker oh, did you hear how loud that was? That was the sound of everything falling. My bad. Okay, so I got more binders. I shared with you guys last time. I got this binder and I actually took everything out of it and moved them to these clear binders. So I now have this empty to do something else with. But I got these clear binders and then these nice Ziploc bag things that you attach into the binder to hold my stickers, and it's so convenient and beautiful and nice, and I'm just obsessed with how easy it is now to look through my stickers, and like little die cut stickers and stuff too in these little pockets. Highly recommend. I will link these after for those who are interested. I got them on Amazon. Where else? Always getting things on Amazon. I know it's not exactly the best place to shop, but look, sometimes convenience does weigh out and times are tight, and that's the case. Also, with being quote unquote kind of ish a little bit of an influencer, I am set up with the Amazon affiliate program, so it's just easy for me to shop there and be able to share links from there. But if you saw my recent video about my washi haul, I got a ton of washi from the washi tape shop, and what I did is, because their washi doesn't stick to itself, it has its own backing, I was able to just cut strips of it and put them in here as sticker strips rather than having to like always try and open the rolls to get access to the stickers and images. This is so much more convenient. Highly recommend if you're ever buying washi from the washi tape shop or elsewhere that doesn't stick to itself to do this method. So I'm actually looking at, I think this sticker sheet might be a really good one. Oh my goodness, I am a mess tonight. Knocking everything over. I love these really beautiful flowers. And the awesome thing about this washi is, look at this. It's pre-cut. So a ton of their washi is pre-cut. So then you can just literally strip it off as a sticker. And then I'm going to put the April over the flowers. Oh, no, that's not right. There we go. So now we have our title down. We know that it's the month of April. How'd I lose my scissors already? Okay, here they are. A little bit over the top to trim off. So let me know, those of you who are with me live today, what you are working on. Are you also working on April? Did you already document April and maybe are starting something else? Or are you just watching and hanging out tonight? I always like to know kind of where you guys are at in the process. I don't know if I want to use this or not. I might just use like the back that has kind of instructions, because then I almost have it like as a reference. Too many photos again. That happens. I've definitely been there in the past. This was a weirdly less photo heavy month for me. And I'm just gonna put this with this photo, even though this is not the same type of bush, because I only got one of these Steeds upright Japanese hollies, and these are the emerald green arborvitae, but the point stands. I think they pretty much have the same information anyhow. And maybe what I'll do is just put them down here. And then I have these great bush stickers. You're doing July of last year. So are you trying to catch up, Sarah, with doing every single month since that time? Or are you trying to put some things together? And I should say, if you're watching this video and you are not currently monthly journaling, but want to start and are interested in the idea, then I want to encourage you that right now is the perfect time to start. You do not have to wait for a brand new year. In fact, the start of a new quarter, document April, would be an excellent time for you to get started. But even so, if you're watching this even later than that, you can start with just documenting May or June, wherever you are at in the year. That's one of the nice things about monthly journaling, is you can just literally start at any new month. And with it being only April, or now May, I guess, you also could technically catch up if you wanted to go back and document all of 2025, because some other great things happened maybe at the beginning of your year. You absolutely could do that, and I would encourage you to do that. One way to do it might be, instead of trying to document January, February, March, April, each in their own spread, just put them all together and do a spread dedicated to the first quarter of the year. And that way you have all the major memories from that time documented. But of course, you also can, as Sarah is doing, again, even if you're behind, even if you were behind by an entire year, it would technically only be 12 entries that you have to create. Now, the trick is actually trying to remember everything that happened in those times. That is, of course, a little bit more difficult. But if you have tons of photos that you can go through, if you have a planner or calendar that you can reference, look back at old texts, look back at your social media, there are definitely ways to jog your memory and remember what happened to be able to document it even after the fact. And for the most part, for me, I usually am sitting down in the last few days of a month and trying to jot everything down that I want to record by using those methods of jogging my memory. In a perfect world, what I like to try and do is keep a regular note in my notes app in my phone that I'm just constantly updating as something happens that I know I want to record. I'll just throw it in that note. But more often than not, I forget, and it's at the end of the month that I'm just putting everything together of what I want to document. Okay, need to catch up on my hydration for the day. Just got plain water today. Let me know if you are drinking anything fun or eating anything fun as we're hanging out. I think my dinner is going to be waiting for me when we're done. It's going to be a very late dinner tonight. Just kind of one of those days, like I said. All right, look at all these beauties. Now, unfortunately, my backyard doesn't quite have gorgeous mountains in the distance beyond the bushes, so probably can't really use those. But I love how I feel like these represent spring just so beautifully. Like I could see maybe cutting some of this out. Like I don't really want this big tower, whatever that tower is. But we are living in like a little neighborhood town, so this kind of could be cute to use. Just like the building tops and the pink and green trees all blending together, and then the birds in the sky. If I just do that without this building. Why not? Let's just do it. All right, today is going to be especially challenging. If you couldn't tell, I have my nails done from the wedding. And basically, as somebody who never gets her nails done or does anything with her nails, I am like an infant, just a helpless child trying to do things with my hands. So there we go. Okay. Thank you. They're just press-ons that I got again at TJ Maxx. So they're really nothing fancy. But I do really like I do like the look of my nails being done. It's the practicality of having my nails being done when I'm somebody who loves to garden and we go, rock climbing, or we do just so many activities, even something as simple as trying to peel stickers and work with your hands, or even I'm a lefty, so like this pinky nail digs into my palm when I'm writing, just because of the way I hold my pen. So, it's those just everyday challenges. The first world problem challenges of having your nails done. but I do really like the look, and I do think that I could see myself trying to do press-ons a little bit more often when I have an occasion. Yes, exactly. The gardening season, they definitely need to get shorter. I've not dug in the garden since putting them on, but I feel like coming up soon, I'm gonna want to get my hands dirty again, and they're gonna have to come off. And we'll see if we get through the whole evening without one popping off on its own. I think what I might do is put this cherry blossom one, here we go again with the nails, up in this corner. And then that's like a nice way of connecting everything. Yeah. So then I'll put the spend time in the garden illustration down here as well, and then this whole kind of corner can be dedicated to the upgrades for the garden. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll use, since it's all from the same collection, it just means that the colors all work nicely together, which is always what I recommend, is trying to use a lot of stickers from similar collections. That way you know they already coordinate. Last year we created tons of monthly sticker kits with these coordinated colors. So you can see all of the stickers on these pages are for each month and have these really nice color palettes. So those are great to use and are all available on Patreon. But really any sticker kit that works for what it is you want to document that has those colors that go together is a nice way to add some nice coordination to your entries. I'm just going to put this here just to get something happening in the middle of the page. Sometimes I like to try and, do a whole layout in advance. And if you're just beginning, I would recommend before sticking things down, try and lay out all of your items. But I've been doing this for quite a few years now, as you saw, that sometimes I like to just go for it and figure it out as I go rather than mess around with moving everything around, because sometimes that means I just get into my head about things and it takes forever for me to commit. Whereas when I'm just like, this sticker is going here, it forces me to commit and then just work with what I've already done. So next to this little book table stack, I'm going to put the Storygraph wrap up from April. Storygraph is an app that I use to track my reading, and every month and then at the end of the year they do these nice wrap-ups, so then you can just kind of print this out that already has the book covers of the books that you read. It puts your ratings on there, your average rating for the month, the number of pages that you read, a number of books. So I read 3 books, 608 pages, and really good books too, a 4.58 average rating for April. And those were James Herriot, All Things Wise and Wonderful, third book in James Herriot's series of memoirs, For All Creatures Great and Small. And I love every single one. It is a warm hug. They are the best. Highly recommend. The second book I read was Joyful Outsiders, 6 Ways to Live Like Jesus. Sorry, I have to bring it closer to read the little print. Live Like Jesus in a Disorienting Culture by Patrick Miller and another man named Keith something. The rating is covering the last name. But that was really good too. That was nonfiction and was essentially, I mean, the subtitle kind of says it. They talk about how Jesus lived his life basically as an outsider and, builds off of that whole line from Jesus about, the world will hate you. Like, basically, the world hated me first. You're going to have to get used to being an outsider. And they are pastors who are encouraging us with ways that we can live in to being a joyful outsider and not feeling, isolated by that fact or feeling like we need to totally step outside of the world because of that, but how we can be both in the world but not of the world, as they say. And so I thought I got some good takeaways from that book and enjoyed it. And then the third book that I read was The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, which I had never read before, and I didn't really know anything about it going into it, but it was one of the audiobooks that I just listened to as I was gardening. Let me bring you a little closer so you can see better. Yeah, I just listened to it while out in the garden, and as always, C.S. Lewis is just brilliant. And it was a very interesting concept, though, in how he presents this fictionalized version of what it would look like to go to hell or heaven. So I could definitely see why some people might be put off by what he's trying to do. But I think more than being about trying to explain, and he even says this, I think, in the introduction to the book, that it's not really a book about what heaven or hell will be like, because how could you write such a thing? But it's actually a commentary on how humans are and how we live out now on Earth, and kind of the dangers and, of our own sin and that kind of thing. So that was really good. So definitely was trying to spend a lot of time in the Word this month, and also just, filling my mind with things that are also directly related to my faith, because of course this was the holy month of leading up to Easter, a lot of it. And something else we did on that note was go to see The King of Kings, which is another Angel Studios production. And this was the story that Charles Dickens wrote for his kids to explain the life of Jesus to his kids. Basically, they made that in an animated movie form. And it was good. I did enjoy it. It's kind of one of those things where I don't know what I was expecting, because, of course, it's basically just the Bible. It's the story of Jesus. It's the New Testament, or the Gospels, rather. And that is the story, and there's nothing to change about the story, other than the cuteness of Charles Dickens telling his little boy about Jesus, and the little boy, is obsessed with kings like King Arthur, and then basically Charles Dickens is like, well, let me tell you about the King of Kings, and the king you should really be, just in awe of. And so then he tells him about Jesus. So it was a very sweet story, though certainly It's not one that's going to surprise you because you already know the story. And if you don't know the story, then I would encourage you to learn about it and to read the Bible and find out about who Jesus is by reading the Gospels. Okay, this photo is from our Holy Saturday hike, which we lead every year for our church. That too is something that you can see recorded in all of our past Aprils, or not necessarily April, but any month that has Easter in it. Every year we've been doing the Holy Saturday hike. And essentially, we just organize that for our church and invite all of our church family to enjoy a nice hike together and then read a little bit of scripture and reflect on the day between Good Friday and Easter. So this is our church group that went, and I have to say, um, I think we're starting to get to the point where we're gonna have to like split up into two groups. This is a lot of people to take on a hike, so it was a lot of fun, but it was the most people we've had so far, and I think we're starting to push the limit just a little bit. And then we'll put these other photos, I guess, for Easter over here too, and just do like a nice kind of Easter compilation. This feels very Eastery. So maybe I'll, just to kind of like keep this continuation of the same stickers, I've just been having so much fun with these washi tape stickers. I feel like I'm using them in so many of my spreads for like my planning and stuff because they're just so cute. I like these little kids peeking through like they're participating in the Easter egg hunt. So that's pretty good. I might do that layout. I think I like that. So that's kind of how I tend to do things, is I just like lay out a little section and then work on that, and then I'll move on to another section. And what I'm gonna do is actually glue this photo down first, and then I can use that as a guide for where I wanted the other photos. Mm-hmm. Oh, the nails. Okay. Starting to get sticky fingers. Okay, then we can peel this. Maybe maybe not. There we go. Probably shouldn't have done that because it seems like the photo's trying to move around now. I swear some of my friends have the cutest kids. And that actually is something that I should put on here somewhere. I'll probably have to do it without saying names or something. Not that anybody I think I know really watches this channel, that it would be revealing anything, but I found out this April, if this tells you anything about the stage of life that I and my friends are in, I found out that not one, not two, but 3 of my close friends are all expecting. So they're all gonna have like October, November babies, which is very fun and exciting. And one of them, this is their daughters, so they're gonna be having their second. I don't know, I can't tell if the nails are helping me to take the stickers apart or if they're hindering me, but I don't know why my blade on my trimmer is so dull already. I literally just switched it, I swear. Okay. So let's see where else we should put things. Could do the birding maybe over here, in part because I like the little birds here, and I think that's like a cute way of them playing off each other. And then I don't know where did my photo go of the bluebells. I lose things so quickly on this desk. Oh, is this it? No. Nope, not under there. Like half of my live streams is you guys just watching me desperately scrounge around my desk trying to find the one sticker or photo that I misplaced. And half the time you're probably screaming at your screen because it's so obviously like right there in the center. But I'm not seeing it. Did it fall on the floor maybe? Don't see it. that's where I want to put it, if I can find it. Aw, happy birthday to your youngest, Sarah, turning 9. That's very exciting. Is he or she already counting down the days to 10? I know for my nieces, turning 10 was a big deal, right? Finally getting to those double digits. I don't know where it went. A birthday every day. Well, then it wouldn't be special, would it, if we had a birthday every day? All right, I'm literally standing up trying to find this photo. What happened to it? What happened? I need to start keeping like a little tray and not move things over onto the desk until I know that I'm ready to glue it down. Because otherwise, this is, oops, sorry, I just bumped you, is always what happens. Oh, is this it? Ah, ha, ha, ha. We found it. Success. It was indeed on the floor. How it got to that spot on the floor, nobody knows. But I think I want to put this here. I might need to trim it the teeniest bit. Maybe even like it'd be cute to put it under this a little bit. Let's see. Ow. I just stabbed myself with these. I'll try to become a tweezer user. One of those people. I've just never been somebody who uses tweezers when paper crafting. I feel like you either are or you aren't. Like some people, it's like they can't pick up anything unless it's with their tweezers. And then other people like me just struggle along with our fingers. I'd be curious how many of you primarily use tweezers. Like, I feel like the aesthetic journaling videos that people make, a lot of them use tweezers, you know, when it's like the ASMR journaling, which personally, if you can't tell by me talking, is not my personal cup of tea. Like, I like when people are chatting and hanging out with me and telling me what they're doing, more than ASMR. Like, I've done one or two on my channel, but I just don't enjoy them as much. But they always have tweezers and are always like smoothing out their photos and stickers and things with the tweezers, I feel. Okay, let's see how that looks, putting it. Yeah, I think that's good. So then they're kind of going over. And then we can put this, like there. Yes, the glue all over the fingers is partly why I finally caved in and was grabbing the tweezers, because they're feeling very sticky. I'm glad I'm not the only one who just uses fingers for the most part. It definitely does seem like maybe once you get a handle of it, it's easier, but I feel like there is a learning curve to using tweezers primarily for your paper crafting. Okay, so now we have our go birding. And we did go birding specifically where the bluebells were. And we saw, I wish I could play it with you, but of course it's on my phone. But we saw a Carolina wren that just like was not scared at all and let us get so close to it. And it was just singing its beautiful song. And you could just watch it and like see its throat moving to make that sound. It was absolutely stunning. It was such a peaceful, beautiful moment. Just like standing in awe of God's creation and this beautiful bird singing like all glory, you know? So I'm gonna use some more of these little birds. Yeah, we'll put like one here. Because then it's nice when you have these little stickers that match, because it kind of adds, like it's a continuation of the story almost, because we have this birds flying here, and then this one flying over here. Yeah, now I have to try and not misplace tweezers too. That's true. Yeah, alpha stickers, I've definitely see the merit in using them for alpha stickers. For sure. Okay. Oh, I think people are taking, it's trash night here in my neighborhood, so I can hear people taking the trash out. Actually, that might be my own husband taking the trash out. So I think now, maybe I'll like, all right, let me think. Maybe I'll glue one or two of these other things down just to have a sense of where they are going. Oops, sorry, I just bounced into you again. I don't know where I want this. This was the start of April, so I do normally like to put beginning of the month things towards the top and work my way down, though I don't always do that, but sometimes it's nice. I think I'm just going to put him in this corner, and I'll figure out how and where I want to write it later. This was my best friend's son's first birthday, and I mean, I knew that she was going to make the cutest kid, but oh my goodness, she made the cutest kid. Of course, I'm sure all of you also, your kids are the cutest, but he's so cute. So I'll put him over here just to get him down before I lose this photo and have to find him hanging out on the floor. So this, maybe tweezers come in handy too, because I got like a little hair under it. Is it just like, I think it's the fuzz of the photo, like I said, was not trimming nicely. Okay, and then let me put the I Capture the Castle. Over here with the books, naturally, as my current read. And I saw, Janie, you asked, have I read all 3 books of The Tattooist of Auschwitz? Because you were looking to read it. You know, I don't know that I knew that The Tattooist of Auschwitz was a series. Now I'm gonna look it up quick. Oh, you know, I did hear that there was a second one. Okay, Silka's Journey. And then what's... And then Three Sisters is the third one. I only read The Tattooist of Auschwitz, so I should read these other 2, because I did really enjoy The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I thought it was really good. I listened to it on audio, and it was really well done as an audiobook, if you like audiobooks. But I would recommend it, and yeah, I'm gonna, not that I need more books on my to-be-read list right now, but you know, when you're a reader, you're always adding books, right? But yeah, I think I might add those, and I'll probably listen to them too, just since I don't have the first one already, and I think I'd prefer to just continue listening. But thanks for the recommendation, actually, to read the other 2, and I would recommend reading the first one. I thought it was good, though of course, given the subject matter, it is definitely a harder read, but definitely a worthwhile one. Okay, where do I want my chairs? Do I want my chairs? Maybe here, because then it's kind of like under the dining table almost. Maybe I'll do it here, and then I could write something here, like about DIY project, and then I always like when I'm putting photos down to try and put them not perfectly aligned with each other, but always just off center it the tiniest bit. So they're right, it starts down here instead of right here. Or even like centered like that. I don't like as much. You can see I did the same thing here. Like even though these 2 are in order, then I break it up by putting it here. So almost like you're always having a perpendicular line in that space between your photos. It just adds more of a nice collage feel. Yeah, that one, The Tattooist of Auschwitz, is the first one. And it wasn't a book that felt like, oh, this needs a sequel. I think she just happened to continue the story. So you could only read the first one, I think, and just enjoy that on its own. I'd love to know what everybody else read this month or watched, if there was a favorite book or movie or TV show from the month. Drop that in the chat or the comments. I think all of us enjoy getting recommendations from others. So I didn't comment on my chair's photo, but this I'm very proud of, because this is a one man's trash is another person's, or woman in this case, treasure, because these chairs were put out actually a few weeks ago on this very night, trash night. And I saw them and was like, you know, I really am looking for new dining room chairs, and those seem like they're in okay condition. They just really need to be painted. You know, they're all worn and stuff. So I brought them home and I bought some chalk paint and I painted them and I put little cushions on them, and now they're in my dining room, and I got them for free plus the cost of a can of chalk paint. So really fun little DIY project there. That let me check off something that I've been wanting for a while, which was to add some additional chairs to my dining room. I have all mismatched chairs. If you've watched some of my vlogs, you might have seen that at my dining room table, it's all kind of mismatched chairs, and so it worked out nicely because it means that I can always just be adding in random chairs. I don't have to like get the same exact set. I'm just seeing your comments about what you guys are reading. Yes, it wasn't Upcycle for the Win. Actually, that would be a good title for this section. The Lifeless. I watched that too. I actually forgot about that. I was trying to remember what movies and TV shows we watched this month and could not for the life of me remember what they were. But that was one of them, so I should make that note. And then we actually also watched, Sarah, The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. It started out really good, the movie, and then it obviously spans a very big time span, which I didn't know going into it. And so I could see how it's likely a good book because I know it's a very famous, beloved book. I think it just did not translate well to a movie because it just got confusing and was like too much jumping around as it was trying to like skip time from my standpoint. Oh, and listening to the third Gilmore Girl. Yeah, that one's on my list too. I think that would be a good listen as a Gilmore Girls fan. All right. I'm gonna write, we're gonna try to write anyways with these nails. Upcycled. Whenever I'm writing things really slowly, I have to concentrate so much because I always end up misspelling things when I write slowly because I'm not just in the groove of what letter comes next. Upcycled. There we go. And then I think I'll write like, one man's trash is this woman's treasure. Yeah, I think you're right. It's our brain moving faster than our hand. And that's a good idea, Sarah, to write the word on a scrap paper and then put the word above you so then you have it as a reference to just make sure that you're doing it right. I'm definitely writing much more poorly with these nails. I just feel very awkward in how I'm holding my pen. I don't know if I'm debating if I want to write before and after on the photos, or if that's just like pretty obvious. I mean, it is obvious, but do I want to like extra call it out? Is the question. Let's see, maybe if I did some white gel pen, or I guess this isn't gel pen, it's Posco paint pen. There we go. That's nice. Before and after. If I wasn't making this collage 2 minutes before we were about to do our live stream, I would have probably just done this in the Pic Collage app because you can add words and captions directly to your photos in there. So that is a nice feature if you don't want to write onto your photo or feel like you don't have a good pen to do so. You could always try doing that digitally and then print it out that way. But the Posco white pens also work nicely for that. All right, I feel like we are cruising along. We're getting a good amount accomplished. I'm gonna just stick down this one and maybe the wardrobe. And then what I would like to do is try and draw a bird for our Go Birding. And put the frozen yogurt up here next to the tree since it matches so nicely with the pink. And then I think I'm just going to put this down here in the corner, maybe over here. No, I'll put it here since this was kind of an end of the month thing. Ooh, got a lot of glue came out that time. Just, oh no, I dropped it on the table. Now things are really going to be a gluey mess. Look at this mess I made. Try and clean that up before I'm putting my hands all in it. Okay. And then do we want to use TJ Maxx somewhere? It's giving them a lot of real estate. I don't know that they deserve that much real estate. I got like 2 things there. Oh, I kind of like, actually, oh, I should have thought of this better because it makes sense to put the fish with the Easter stuff because we got all you can eat sushi at Sushi Heaven for the first time. I don't know if any of you have been to Sushi Heaven, but it was our first time and it was definitely an experience. And we went with friends after the Good Friday service, so it makes sense to use this for that. But also with the first day of trout, it also would make sense to document that with this too. So, you know, I don't have any photos for the first day of trout, and I've been documenting it every year, so maybe I just don't need to do like a big thing for the first day, and I could just write it small somewhere. I feel like I should try and rip this open so I'm not putting down quite as thick of paper. If I had something that would make sense to kind of use it almost like the teeniest little pocket, that could be really cute and fun, but I don't really have anything that makes sense this time. I kind of like the randomness of it, like even though it doesn't totally match. In some ways, I like those pops on the page because it also speaks to the fact that this is literally moments from your life curated together, and that doesn't mean that everything is going to match perfectly. It means that this is real life, right? And things are just real depictions of that snapshot of your month. And in this case, more glue all over my hands, but this is just such a fun little memento that's from the real experience. You know, I have sushi, I literally have stickers of sushi that I could have used instead, or I could have drawn a sushi roll or just wrote Sushi Heaven and done that, but I actually really love the little fish just swimming across the page. All right, let's see how well I just practice on the same sticker paper just to see. Yeah, once I glue on it, it stays fine. So just before I go on this sticker, I wanted to test the pen on the non-sticker part of the washi. So just a good tip if you're kind of using a pen for the first time on a surface and you're not sure whether it's going to stick, just do a little test run first before you accidentally end up smearing everything. As a lefty, I always have to pay attention to those things. Okay, so I guess I should write for Good Friday. Trying to kind of recap the weekend of Easter. So then we have Holy Saturday, abbreviate it, hike. And then make a joke about it being a big group from church. And then Easter. With Nat, Jen, Reed. Gotta try and put everybody's names on here. Are we gonna fit Alyssa, Colin, and oh no, this one's a long name. Adeline. Just barely fit it. But there we go. That's kind of the summary of a long weekend. Obviously, the thing with journaling, right, is I could have written multiple pages describing every little detail of Easter weekend in a daily journal, but just these headlines of we did this, we also had that hike, we had Easter, this is who was there, is enough to jog my memory and just remember the beauty of that time spent with tons of people that we love and reflecting on the King of Kings. It's just really special to have that to look back on. And if I wanted to, I know in years past I would write my Easter menu or write another detail. But I think this recap with the photos and then the fact that we organized an Easter egg hunt for the first time is sufficient this year for that. And then I guess I'll just write first day of trout in here. Well, now actually I'm second guessing because I think what I want to do is just write Trout Camp 2025 because normally I always just call it first day of trout because that's what we do. We get together for the first day of trout. We have like a bonfire the night before. All of Ben's friends go over to his parents' house. They sleep over the night, get up early, go fishing, and then we all have a really big chicken and waffles lunch. So it's a great time. Some of my friends come too, and we all just hang out. And this year, though, they kept referring to it as trout camp, kind of the same way people have like hunting camps. So this was trout camp. And so I thought that was a fun like new title for it. So I want to use that instead. So I'm going to get a sticker to cover the D so I can write trout camp instead. Maybe these. Okay. Oh. Let's see if this will fit or if it's going to be too big. Might be too big. I don't think it's going to fit. What a shame. Okay. One of these might work. Of course, it's the teeniest bit see-through, but I think once I write over it, you won't be able to see the fact that there's the D underneath. I'll just go right over it. So I just like having that next to the fish because then that also kind of looks like it's representing trout camp. And then of course it's actually the chopstick cover from Sushi Heaven. And I'll probably put something here because that space is a little bit awkward, but wow, look at these tweezers getting tons of use, coming in handy. Definitely makes it easier to lift up a sticker that's already down. There we go. So I kind of like the idea of turning this into like a fishing line as the border. Just as like a teeny little detail, like sometimes those little, I don't know, creative details that just come to mind are just such fun cute additions to the page. Oh, thank you. So you say call me Shay Shay, so I don't know if that is the name that you go by, but that means so much to me, and I'm so glad you've been here all that time. I can never fault people for being the silent followers and watchers and subscribers because I'm that for so many people. There's so many people whose YouTube channels I love, but I just am so bad at commenting. I think it's often because I'm like not, I don't know, I'm not watching, I'm like watching on my TV, or I'm usually doing something while I'm watching, so it's just hard to like go to the video and try and leave a comment. I totally get that. That being said, thank you so much because the comments do keep me going and inspire me and just make me know that I'm doing a good job and you guys are enjoying what you are seeing. So if you're watching this and you got to this point of the video and haven't left a comment, let this be a sign that it would mean so much to me if you left a comment letting me know how you enjoyed the video. All right, so we have just a few minutes left since we'd like to try and keep this to 2 hours for the purpose of my bedtime. And I know all of you probably have things to do as well, but I do want to see if I can at least get a rough sketch down of a bird. So we saw a brown thrasher that's been hanging out in our yard and just the cutest, and I call him Thrasher since he is a brown thrasher. And we see him, I actually haven't seen him for a few days now, so maybe he's moved on. But he was hanging out in our yard for a while, and it made me so happy because they're so beautiful. And it's just so fun to see new birds enjoying our little backyard oasis. So I just want to grab some colors. These are watercolor pencils. Brown thrashers, if you can't tell from the name, are a lot of brown, but they have these really beautiful spots and markings on their chest. So I think all these colors probably will suffice. So what I want to do is put like a brown thrasher like here, and probably decently big, because if you haven't noticed, I've put like a lot of the things that I want to document for this month already on the page. So I actually have quite a bit of space to fill. So I might even have it like fill up all this space. And I'll have his beak there, do his head. Now, the only problem with doing him here, I might be regretting this, is their tails are so nice and long, but you're not going to be able to see his tail. But I guess that's okay. I could just have his tail like literally go under upcycled. That actually is kind of cute. It could be like the background of upcycled is the thrasher's tail. See, this is why sometimes I don't actually do layouts in advance, because sometimes the serendipitous way that things come together is even better and more fun. One leg, he's got like another leg. And I am looking at a reference photo just in case y'all thought I could just do this from memory. I cannot. I wish I was that kind of artist. I very much admire those artists, but it's not me. So I'm really just using my base color pen to do a rough sketch. And then I'll fill in the details. I think his chest is actually a little bit bigger. His eye is like right there. I like the watercolor pencils because I feel like they're very forgiving, but it's also very easy to do like a sketch instead of trying to just like go straight watercolor and then not, I don't know. I am definitely not somebody who can do details with watercolor if I just went straight in. Now, I do think I have to be careful because the pen I used to write Upcycled, the Tombow Fudenosuke, is not, I'm pretty sure, archival. It's not like water. It is, what am I trying to say? It is water soluble. So if I get this ink wet here, it would bleed. So I just would have to be careful not to do that here. And I'm gonna do my best to not be a perfectionist and let it be a sketch, because that is my biggest problem with art, is I want everything to be realistic. But frankly, I do not have that type of artistic talent. I very much admire people who can do detailed, literally looks like a photograph artwork, but that's not me. Like, really, my talent level is at a little bit more abstract, which is a totally okay and beautiful way to do art too, after all. You know, if I wanted a picture, I'd just print out a picture. The point is that I want an interpretation and a piece of art. So I don't want it to be perfectly exactly like the thing itself. That being said, it doesn't stop my perfectionist tendencies from trying anyhow to get in there and make it exact. So it's got like some nice brown here. Probably like a, because it's like a little bit deeper brown. And then I think I need a, this will need to be darker in here. One thing I love about art like this is actually how terrible it looks at the beginning. Like, y'all probably are looking at this like, wow, are you sure she draws most of our stickers? Because she doesn't look very good at art. But I love how as you build, it actually becomes more and more the image. And then, of course, like I said, the forgiving aspect of using the watercolor pencils is the fact that then when you bring in any water, you're kind of blending everything together. So like a lot of those harsh lines get removed. Oh yeah, we needed some dark. That's what we needed. Yes, exactly. The ugly face. Just throw some more marks in here. They have such pretty, if you don't know what a brown thrasher looks like, I encourage you to look up a picture of a real one because they're just so pretty. And they're quite big compared to like your average backyard bird. So it was really fun to have him hanging out with us. I hope he comes back. He's welcomed anytime. Pass it on. Interesting. Some of the ones here are all like moving into each other, creating almost a line. This probably isn't the best reference photo that I'm looking at because it's actually in the winter, so he's got like snow on his beak. But that's all right. And the eye is like bright yellow. And then of course it has like a black center. Which probably will be easiest to do afterwards with pen. For like a little bit of multimedia, most likely. It's like these little white spots here, but I'm probably just going to do like Posca marker after the fact to get those. Okay, I think that actually is a decent start of a sketch for what the bird looks like. And like I said, I want it to be sketchy. It's okay that it's sketchy. And then I'm probably just going to do a little bit of water to blend it out a little bit and then add in some additional details with regular colored pencils or pen just to add those finer markings. But that's a good start. And we did that in, I think that was under 10 minutes for that sketch. So I want this to be an encouragement to you that as much as I love that you guys use my stickers a lot of the times, obviously photos in your journaling, you absolutely should at some point, every now and then, bring in your own illustration of something, because I really truly believe that your own art, even if you don't consider yourself an artist in any stretch of the imagination, having a little doodle that you did to represent something is just such a personal touch that you just can't replicate and really just makes the journal yours and really makes it an art journal that is speaking to not only your life, but also then who you are and your skills and your talents and the way that you see the world. It's your creative expression. So I love that and just would encourage you to every now and then throw in your own little illustration. So, with that, that's going to wrap up our time together today. Obviously, I still have quite a little bit of quite a little bit of blank space. So we'll have to see what I do to fill that all in. I definitely have a list of some other things that aren't yet incorporated on here. I will say if you get to a point where you feel like, wow, I didn't fill up most of my page, I have a lot of room left. One, it's okay to just leave some blank space. You don't have to fill up everything, every little inch like I do all the time. But if you like that look and want to add more, check out my journaling prompts on Patreon. Use those to fill in the gaps, just answering some prompts that maybe relate to the month. Or another thing you can do is literally just do a little bit of a recap of the month and your thoughts and feelings about the month as a whole, and do it as long form journaling. This page would be really pretty if all I did was leave it as is and then fill in the gaps with some long form journaling talking about the month. So that is an option too. But thank you so much. If you're interested in any of the stickers I shared with you today, do head over to my Patreon, and I would love to have you join as a free member, or it would mean so much to me if you want to support this channel and get access to tons and tons and tons of stickers and so many other extras to think about doing that by joining one of our tiers. That would mean the most. Clearly, we're at the end of the night. I can't speak. And my final thing would be, again, we are reading I Captured the Castle for our book club. I will be sharing about that more formally over on my Patreon too. So if you want all the details, you can head over to Patreon for that as well, coming very soon. And then when I am finished with this page, I will also be sharing the final entry in our monthly journaling club group chat, so you can see it over there. Thank you to everybody who joined me live. Thank you to all of my patrons who make this possible. And thank you to everybody watching. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And I'll look forward to seeing you next month as we continue to make this a year to remember.